Now we are going to discuss eddy currents. We know that when a conductor is placed in a varying magnetic field, EMF is induced, and if the conductor is a closed one, induced current will be flowing. Okay, and that phenomenon is called electromagnetic induction. Whenever there is change in magnetic flux, EMF is induced. Here, if a bulk sheet of conductor, so this is a conductor, this is a copper plate, okay, bulk sheet of copper conductor, if it is subject to changing magnetic field, for example, it is oscillating, it is made to oscillate in a strong magnetic field. So, like this represents the north and the south strong magnetic field, and if it is made to oscillate, we can see that when it made to oscillate, what happens to magnetic field? It changes. Okay, when it is made to oscillate means it is magnetic field changes, magnetic flux varies, and hence EMF is induced in the copper sheet. Okay, so since it is made to oscillate in a strong magnetic field lines cut or magnetic flux varies, and hence an EMF is induced in the copper sheet. And the direction of induced current, since it is a closed sheet, current flows through it, and the direction of closed current or the direction of induced current is in the form of closed loops, like this, in the form of whirls or eddies. Okay, so here the current flows in the form of eddies, and this current is called eddy current, and these are called eddy currents. Okay, so whenever a bulk piece of conductor is subjected to varying magnetic field, induced currents are produced in them, and these currents resemble swirling eddies in water. We know eddies in water, whirls in water. So, this current resembles eddies in water, and hence they are called eddy currents. Actually, this effect was discovered by physicist Foucault. And hence this current is also called Foucault currents. Since the physicist Foucault discovered the effect, eddy currents are also called Foucault current. So, what are eddy currents or Foucault current? When a bulk sheet of conductor is subjected to varying magnetic field, induced currents are produced in them, and these currents resemble eddies in water, and hence the current is called eddy current. So, due to that heating effect, when this copper plate is made to oscillate in the strong magnetic field, after 1 or 2 oscillation it stops, it damps. Why? Because eddy currents are produced in the copper plate which opposes the motion. According to Lenz's law, the direction of induced current is such that it opposes the cause. So, here what is the cause? The motion of the copper plate is the cause. So, induced currents are produced in them which opposes the motion, and hence the copper plate after 1 or 2 oscillation it damps or it stops. Okay. So, in this case, how will you reduce eddy current? So, eddy current actually produces heating effect, and because of the heating effect, the damping occurs. And how will you minimize this eddy current? By reducing the area in this copper plate. If you reduce the area, then we can reduce the eddy current. And how will you reduce the area? By using slotted sheets. In the copper sheet, this is a copper sheet. If the copper sheets are cut like this, slotted sheets, these are called slotted sheets. If slotted sheets are used, what about the area? If this is the original copper sheet, here area is greater. So, eddies are produced, eddy currents are produced. But here, since slotted sheets are used, what happens to the area? Area is less, and eddy current can be minimized. So, eddy current can be minimized by using slotted sheets. Okay. And eddy current can also be minimized by using laminated sheets. Laminations are usually done by an insulating material called lacquer. So, lacquer is an insulating material, and between two or three sheets, insulating materials are placed, and hence area can be reduced, and thus eddy current can be minimized. So, these are the two common methods of reducing eddy current. Now, we can discuss what are the applications of eddy current. First application is electromagnetic brakes. Strong electromagnets are situated above the rails in some electrically powered trains. When electromagnets are activated, the eddy current induced in them opposes the motion of the train, and hence the train comes to rest. Second application is induction furnace. In an induction furnace, high temperature is produced by generating eddy currents. The material to be melted is placed in a varying magnetic field of high frequency. Hence, a strong eddy current is developed inside the material which is enough for the metal to melt. The third application is speedometer used in automobiles. In a speedometer, a magnet rotates according to the speed of the vehicle. Eddy currents are produced in the drum due to the rotation of the magnet, and it opposes the motion of the rotating magnet. Next application is electric power meter. The shining metal disc in the electric power meter, which is analog type, rotates due to eddy current. Electric currents are induced in the disc by the magnetic field produced by varying AC currents. Next we can study AC generator. A generator is a device. Generator is otherwise called a dynamo. It's a device which converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. An AC generator converts mechanical energy into alternating form of electrical energy. Alternating form means AC. And the working principle of AC generator is electromagnetic induction. That is, whenever there is change in magnetic flux, EMF is induced in a coil or current flows through the coil, and this phenomenon is called the electromagnetic induction. Now, what is the construction of an AC generator? AC generator consists of and rectangular coil. So, PQRS represents a rectangular coil having large number of turns of copper wire, and it is wound on a soft iron cylindrical core, and this PQRS is called the armature coil. Okay, so AC generator consists of a rectangular coil PQRS having large number of turns of insulated copper wire wound on a soft iron cylindrical core, and this is called armature coil. And this armature coil PQRS, it can be rotated between the pole pieces of permanent magnet. So, N and S represent permanent magnet. The two ends of the armature coil PQ and RS, these are the two ends, they are connected to two coaxial rings. S1 and S2 represent two coaxial rings. So, the two ends of the armature coil are connected to two coaxial rings S1 and S2, and these rings are called the slip rings. So, S1 and S2 represent slip rings. And there are two graphite brushes B1 and B2 which are lightly pressed against the two slip rings. So, these are the brushes B1 and B2, graphite brushes B1 and B2, and these are in sliding contact with the slip rings. They are not in permanently contact or fixed contact with the slip rings, they are slightly or they are sliding contact with the slip rings S1 and S2, and output can be taken across the two brushes. So, this is the construction of an AC generator armature coil. It can be rotated between the pole pieces of a strong magnet, permanent magnet, and the two ends of the armature coils are connected to the slip rings S1 and S2 which are in sliding contact with the brushes B1 and B2, and the output can be taken across the graphite brushes. Now, working. So, as the armature coil rotates by giving external energy or by using the turbine, we can rotate the armature coil. So, when the armature coil rotates in the magnetic field, what happens to magnetic flux? Magnetic flux varies, isn't it? Magnetic flux varies, and hence an EMF is induced or an induced current flows through the armature coil. Suppose initially the coil PQRS is rotated such that PQ is moving downward. The side PQ is moving into the plane or downward, and RS is moving outward. Okay, PQ is moving, PQ is moving downward and RS is moving outward. Then from Fleming's right hand rule, here magnetic field is towards right, and here current magnetic field is towards right, and the side PQ is moving into. So, what is the direction of current? Downward, isn't it? The direction of current through the side PQ is downward. Okay, children. So, here the direction of current through the side PQ is from Q to P, and the side QP is connected to slip ring S2. So, it is downward. Here it also outward. And the side SR, through the side SR, the current is in the upward direction, and SR is connected to which slip ring? S1, which is connected to brush B1. So, here current is up, here also this is the direction. So, the direction of current is in which direction? S, R, Q, P. This is the direction of current. Okay. So, that the brushes B1 and B2, here current is moving out. Okay, so if a device is connected here, through the device current flows from Y to X. That means the terminal Y act as the positive and X act as the negative, or brush B2 act as the positive and brush B1 act as the negative terminal. Okay, now during the half rotation, this is the case during the first half rotation. During the first half rotation, the direction of current is from SRQP. The direction of current is SRQP, so that the terminal B1 or brush B1 or the terminal X act as the negative and the terminal Y or B2 act as the positive terminal. Now during the second half rotation, what happens? PQ takes the right side and RS takes the left side. Okay, so during the half rotation, initially during the first half rotation, PQ was on the left side and RS on the right side, and during the second half rotation, PQ takes the right side and RS takes the left side. Okay, now PQ is moving outward, PQ is moving outward and RS is moving inward. Okay, so again using Fleming's right hand rule, what is the direction of current? Here this represents a magnetic field, the loop is moving outward, so direction of current is upward. The direction of the current through the side PQ is upward. Here upward means here upward. PQ side is connected to which slip ring? S2. So here upward means here this is the direction of current. And the direction of current through RS is downward. Here it is downward. Here it is outward. Clear? Now the terminal X act as positive and terminal Y act as negative. So during the second half rotation, the side PQ moves upward and side SR moves downward. The side PQ moves upward and side SR moves downward. The direction of induced current is reversed. That is, it flows in which direction? PQRS. That is the direction of current. So that the terminal B1 act as the positive, the brush B1 act as the positive terminal and the brush B2 act as the negative terminal. Brush B1 act as positive and brush B2 act as the negative terminal. Thus the direction of current in the external circuit is completely reversed after every half rotation. Okay, so initially B1 was negative, this was the first half rotation. B1 negative and B2 positive. Again after the second half rotation, during the second half rotation, B1 becomes positive and B2 becomes negative. So again after each half rotation, the sign of the terminal continuously changes and hence AC is produced. That alternating current, positive, negative, positive, negative, that means alternating current is produced. Now we can derive the formula for induced EMF. When the coil is rotated with angular speed omega, let the armature coil is rotated with an angular velocity omega, theta be the angle between magnetic field and area vector. So here this is the armature coil, here this is the direction of magnetic field, and theta be the angle between magnetic field and area vector. Area vector is outward, this is the direction of area vector and this is the direction of magnetic field. Let theta be the angle between magnetic field and area vector. Let omega be the angular speed. So we know that speed is equal to omega equal to angular displacement divided by time. Omega equal to theta divided by 2, angular displacement divided by time t, or theta can be written as omega t. Okay, so a flux at any instant can be written as the total magnetic flux is N into B dot A or NBA cos theta. Here theta means, what is theta? Theta be the angle between magnetic field vector and area vector. Therefore we can write here phi b equal to NBA cos theta, but theta is equal to omega t, isn't it? So NBA cos omega t. This is the total magnetic flux. When this armature coil rotates in the magnetic field, what happens to this flux? This flux varies. Whenever there is change in magnetic flux, what is induced? EMF is induced. So what is that induced EMF? We know that from Lenz's law, induced EMF E equals minus d phi b divided by dt is equal to minus d by dt of phi b. What is the total magnetic flux? NBA cos omega t. So that is EMF equal to NBA is a constant. So NBA, we can take the negative also, minus NBA d by dt of cos omega t. What is the derivative of cos omega t? Differential of cos omega t is minus sin omega t, isn't it? So E equals minus NBA into d by dt of cos omega t is minus sin omega t into omega. So that is d by d theta of cos theta. We have the formula d by d theta of cos theta is minus sin theta. Using that formula, we can write d by dt of cos omega t is minus sin omega t into that coefficient omega. Therefore, EMF can be written as E equals NBA omega sin omega t. Okay, negative becomes positive. So EMF is given by NBA omega cos omega t. N, B and omega are constant. Number of turns. Magnetic field. A represents the area. Omega represents the angular speed. So N, B, A, omega are constant. Therefore we can write E equal to E0 sin omega t. What is this E0? E0 is NBA omega, where E0, the peak value or the magnitude is given by E0 equals NBA omega. So AC voltage or AC EMF is given by E equals E0 sin omega t. That means as the angle changes, what happens to EMF? EMF also changes. So AC voltage is usually represented by E equals E0 sin omega t. This is the expression for induced EMF. So we have induced EMF, or the output of an AC generator is E equal to E0 sin omega t, where omega t means the angle between magnetic field vector and the area vector. Okay, so if omega t is equal to 0, that means area vector and magnetic field are along the same direction. So omega t 0 means what is the EMF? E becomes E is 0, because omega t 0 means sin 0, 0. So EMF is 0. So when omega t is equal to pi by 2, what is the EMF? Pi by 2 90 degrees, sin 90 is 1. So E becomes E0. When omega t is equal to pi, sin pi is again 0. So E becomes 0. When omega t is equal to 3 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2 means 270 degree. So what is the EMF? It is minus 1. Sin 270 is minus 1. So EMF equal to minus E0. When omega t is equal to 2 pi, sin 2 pi is 0. So EMF becomes 0. Okay. So it can be represented graphically like this. Here graph is plotted with omega t along the x-axis and EMF is plotted along the y-axis. Omega t along the x-axis, that angle along the x-axis, and EMF along the y-axis. So when omega t is equal to 0, when omega t is 0, what is the EMF? 0. Okay, when omega t is 0, EMF is 0. When omega t is pi by 2, what is the EMF? E0. So when omega t is pi by 2, EMF is E0. Let this is E0. When omega t is equal to pi, EMF is 0. When omega t is equal to 3 pi by 2, what is the EMF? Minus E0. When omega t is equal to 2 pi, what is the EMF? 0. So it can be plotted like this. Here it becomes 0, then it becomes negative maximum, then it becomes 0. Okay, so maximum, 0, maximum, then again 0, then it becomes negative maximum, again it becomes 0. What is this value? This value is E0, and what is this value? This value is minus E0. So this is the representation of AC voltage. Okay children.